Greg. Hang on, I have to
Hi.
pin you.
Well, I've been outed, as an asset, so I guess I'll have to change my topic last minute because
To beating the asset accusations.
exactly, yeah. Here's how to keep your clout and not be accused of terrible things by Mia Lauer. Just kidding.
Before you get started, I just want to say that I think a lot of people at Smith are probably CIA assets.
Of course. Gloria Steinem.
Oh, but I mean in our generation.
Oh, yeah.
The
I
amount
mean,
of just brainworms, I'm like, there's no way that wasn't programmed intentionally, at least a little bit. Okay. Real
I would
House.
brief this. I probably the person who wanted to have a femme only orgy via Google Doc, I suspect.
Yeah, like that's
Might be
a
yeah.
That's a data mining operation. Okay. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I want to preface this by saying my topic slightly got changed by the producers because my topic is how to watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and hate yourself only a little bit.
Okay,
It's
let
a
me
big
type that.
distinction. You don't have to.
I do, because I'm a kind host. Okay, get started.
Okay, and I would also like to. I did prepare a PowerPoint, but it's only photographs.
Okay.
Um, so let me share my screen really quickly. So The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills
Oh my
is
god.
a show where super wealthy women get paid millions of dollars to let us into their lives. Um, so it's really
What is
deranged.
that?
I will tell you all
Okay.
about it in 1 second. I'm just
Okay.
going to give a quick overview that basically the main conflicts of the show every season is that there's a conversation and then people misunderstand or their feelings get hurt. And the rest of the series is everyone talking, having meta conversations about the conversation. In previous seasons, there's been someone who had chronic Lyme disease who was accused of having Munchausen's. There was someone who was accused of being a lesbian and cheating on her husband. This image is a perfect example. So, this woman, Lisa Rinna, is absolutely unhinged, and she gave a bunny to another housewife who was having a grandchild. And at the reunion, the other woman gave back the bunny in its wrapping and said, I didn't feel like this was genuine. And Lisa Rinna, you can see right here, she shed a tear
Oh
on
my
camera during the live
god.
release.
She goes
So
to her lip filler plug and is just like
her lip filler
go
plug
fucking
was
for
like,
it.
yeah. So that's a great segue as one way to okay, picture this. It's 2021. You have anxiety, depression, and PTSD and a migraine. What are you expected to do besides lie down with one of those gel masks on your forehead and watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? So, one good way to do it and just not completely fall into a pool of self loathing is to pick someone that you hate no matter what. I fucking hate Lisa Rinna. She is ridiculous. Even when she's right, I'm just like, I'm not going to agree with her because everyone's wrong all the time. So if you have like a target person who you can just like your rage onto during it, that's perfect. Because then you'll always have someone to be mad at. And when you're watching reality TV, you want to have an enemy. So Lisa Rinna is my enemy. I'm getting some notes in my chat that people love Lisa.
People
Okay,
love Lisa?
people love Lisa, but you know what? That's fine. That's their experience of
You
watching
can
the show.
listen,
And
if you want to come on and talk about how you like this person, we have some openings next week. Continue,
perfect.
Grace. This is your
Great.
time.
Okay. So then let's say there's someone that you love no matter what. This person's name is Erica Jane, Erica Girardi. You might have heard about her in the news because her recently ex-husband, Tom Girardi, was the Aaron Brockovich lawyer, and he's now been accused of embezzling hundreds of $1 million from a lot of his victims, including victims of the Malaysian flight crash. He had to declare bankruptcy. This woman was married to him for 20 years. She's in her late 40s, early 50s. Her plastic surgery is incredible.
She looks
She started,
amazing.
she basically just found a bunch of gay people to hire and then start a really bad dance music career with. And everything she does is right. So she's my person
Yeah.
that everything, it doesn't, you know what? Erica's right. She's crying right now because she's feeling put on the spot at a dinner party because people are concerned about protecting their reputations during this whole Girardi Gate situation. She's right.
Don't they know that they're also garbage?
Yeah,
You
all
know,
the house,
it
like,
seems
but
it seems stupid to fight.
it does seem stupid to fight, but it's their job.
They
They
have
make so
nothing
much
else to
money.
do.
They have nothing else to do. And that's another good thing to remember as you're entering this world is like, this is all they do. All of their needs are beyond met. So, but they're still human beings. So then their anxiety funnels out into like yelling at each other at dinner parties. So this dinner party was at Kathy Hilton's house, mother of Paris and Nikki, and she's a friend of the show.
Okay.
And if you're a friend of the show, it means that you don't have the full housewife credit, but you are paid to kind of like pay-per-view appearances throughout the season. I believe I have Kathy actually next to look at. Okay, here she is, my girl, Kathy Hilton. Kathy Hilton rises above all of the bullshit. No one ever brings her into a fight because she's Kathy Hilton. There's nothing. She has blood on her hands. She's incredibly wealthy. And she's incredibly out of touch.
She's done horrific things.
She's done horrific things. And she's also incredibly out of touch with reality, which is another way that I really like watching this show, is to see how out of touch with reality everyone is. As I continue the slideshow, you'll see fashion choices that really show how out of touch with reality these women are. And just because something costs like 15 grand, they're going to wear it. This is Kathy Hilton next to her sister, Kyle. This is Kyle, Kathy to the left. Kyle Richards, yeah. So they're sisters. Kyle has been on the show since season 1, so she's the only long hauler in the series because they're on season 11 or 13 now. I don't remember which. So this is during a moment when there are other women fighting at another outdoor luncheon. And one of the women is saying, it's really hard for me to be around this person and pretend everything is hunky-dory. The camera pans to Kathy Hilton and she says, "Who's hunky dory?" She has never
Read a
heard
fucking book, Kathy Hilton.
She's never heard the expression hunky dory. Why would she? Her life is hunky dory. Why would she have to describe it like that? So it's like very satisfying to watch these clueless, terrible, wealthy women just have no idea what's happening in the world. They filmed the season during COVID, so all the producers are in masks whenever there's like butlers or servers as they're continuing their lives. And that does suck, and it makes it a little less enjoyable for me to watch. But it's also just like, holy shit, they are so ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, I get it though, because I feel like it's like these are the people that like, we should just build a big maze and put them in it.
That's basically what the show is. They're in the maze. They have nothing to do but wonder about hunky dory.
Oh god.
This is Garcelle.
Oh,
we're getting into the questionable fashion choices. I think this is her second season. And they had an entire episode at a different dinner party where everyone started talking about not seeing color and being colorblind and how that's really good. And one of the other women said to Garcelle, "My children have lots of people of color they love. Like all of my staff are women of color." And Garcelle's like, "Are you telling me you only hire brown people to nanny your children?" And then the other woman's response was, "My best friend's mother is Black." So for me, while this is ridiculous, it's also a really helpful way for me to understand how there are other white women in the world who think that this is totally regular and cool to discuss on television and discuss with a Black woman. So that, that's another way. I feel like I am a sociologist, understanding who I could become if I'm not careful.
You are a sociologist.
Thank you. I should have worn my t-shirt that says sociology researcher because it's one of my favorite shirts, but alas, here we are. Okay. I believe this is my last image on the slideshow. Okay. This woman is named Dorit. So she's the one who
that like a therapist shows you that and is like, "What do you see?"
This is my autism quiz. What do you see with this woman? So Dorit is one of the most ridiculous people on the show. She, as you can tell, has really embraced being the fashionista of the series. Like she thinks this is amazing. And one of the features of the Housewives is that whenever they all get together, they spend like 25 minutes just talking about what everyone's wearing as a way to get into conflict. So this is her way to show up and start that discussion.
Yeah.
But my other really favorite thing about Dorit is that she's Israeli, and grew up in Connecticut and is married to a British man. And so her accent, she pretends that she has an English accent and she'll often say things like, PK, what are you doing? And she has this like mid Atlantic London questionable, like well traveled accent that is her hallmark situation. This is from a more recent season, so you can see she's gotten lip fillers, etc. And so another really fun way to watch the show, I'll close out with 3 minutes left, is to you can start wherever you want because it's so digestible. So you could start at the beginning, you could start now, you could start in the middle, and then your interest will be piqued, unfortunately, and then you'll have to either go back or forward and be like, what are these women wearing in like 2014, which is horrible things. Like what plastic surgery do they like? Who are they? Who do they think is cool? What do they think is trashy? And to see these like, again, just disgustingly wealthy women pretend that they have problems is, it works for me as a self-soothing activity.
They're not wrong. They do have problems.
They do have problems. They do. Like, my caviar pie was too big, or like,
My caviar pie was too big?
Kathy Hilton did have a dinner party in the most recent episode where she served caviar pie as their first course. So
I meant more so that they're psychotic.
They're psychotic and they're anxious and sane. So, I guess if I had a net worth of like several $100 million, I might be compelled to do something similar, but probably not.
Well, because isn't that sort of central to Marxism, is that it's like, yeah, when you're like that, you are like that.
Yeah. When you're like that, you're like that.
Yeah.
Marxism / Lizzolfer.
Okay. We have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to ask you some questions.
Please.
One, what is your favorite moment that you've ever watched on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Probably my favorite moment is Erica Jane pretending that she is a member of the LGBTQ community when another woman is talking about putting someone else in her place. And Erica goes, "We call that reading." Yeah.
That's all it takes. Second question. Spin-offs? Aren't there a million of these? Have you watched any of these?
Yeah. So I focused on Beverly Hills, but there's New York, Salt Lake City, Potomac, Atlanta, Orange County, New Jersey, etc. There's a bazillion. Bravo TV really has it on lock with finding rich women who like screaming on TV and going on nice trips.
It's probably not very hard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
I love you.
Whenever you're ready, I love you. Come back soon. Thank you for presenting.
See you later. Bye.